Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help.
Well, all right, Las Vegas, Greg Deville back in the studio once again. So excited to be back on Thursday. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Want to have more fun talking about real estate. The MLK week. That's right. It's been a phenomenal week, and we're going to continue moving forward. I don't know about you, but the parade was off the chain. We had so much fun. It was a good time, and so many participants. I think one of the largest that I possibly seen. I don't know. It's been, I think, 42 years. I have Shondell Newsom, who is our guest on this afternoon. Good afternoon, Shondell. How are you, man?
Good afternoon, Greg. And you know what? I thought we had a blast for MLK Day. That was incredible. The 42nd annual parade.
Wow.
That was just amazing.
It was amazing, man. I see you out there in the streets making moves, man. Definitely. But I thank you, man. Now, look. Don't get in the traffic jam. Don't create nothing. Now, if you got to pull over, whatever the case. But I wanted to pick your, I wanted to pick your brain, man. Because even at the award, the banquet, man, what a phenomenal experience we had there. So many powerhouse people. In the place to be, and expound a little bit, man, how you got in the position to do what you're doing, man. Explain to somebody how that happened for you.
Well, you know, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee has been doing the parade for 42 years, and Wendell P. Williams is the founder of the parade. Also, he's the assembly. He's the one that helped get the law passed.
Right.
So that the parade can come to fruition, you know, and not only the parade, but he got the law passed to make MLK Day a holiday in the state of Nevada. It failed in the previous legislative session. Gene Collins, who we know is a Nevada legislator, couldn't get it over the finish line. It was tough when they first introduced it. And then later on, Wendell P., when he got in as a freshman, you know, he got it introduced and they got it passed. So the law was made there. But what was wild about the whole thing is it's an honor, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be asked by the founder of the parade to carry it on. And the reason he said he wanted us to carry it on, Greg, was because of the family legacy that we're creating.
Right.
And he wants it to go into the next generation. So it was not just, hey, I'm selecting Shondell because he's this cool guy and a good marketing guy, but it really is about, hey, I see how you and your family roll. We want your family to take it over, right? So
there you go.
That's what he wanted. So that's how we got involved and engaged in planning the whole week.
So again, we went from that what was it, the Friday night, we were over at Bally's. Well, the old Bally's is the Horseshoe now.
That was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
Wow. The days went so fast, man. Wouldn't you agree days go by so fast?
Oh, man, they cruised by. And it was amazing. Well, Wednesday we had the VIP reception. Thank you for attending. That was amazing.
Yes.
The VIP reception at the Horseshoe, the old
Horseshoe, right. Mm-hmm.
We had it there. Then Thursday we did the Ultimate Measure of a Man.
That's what it was, yeah.
You were part of one of the previous panels of the Ultimate Measure of a Man. And really what it is, it's about, men getting in a room. And what I say, having that wait to excel moment. Women do that all the time. They sit around and talk about, what they got going on, cry a little bit, and then, come together. This was a great opportunity for men, but also it was an opportunity for us to tell men the myths that have been going on about us and what made us a man versus where we haven't matured. And I don't want to call anybody a boy. I don't like the word. But I'll tell you, the maturation is what we're talking about, maturing to become the ultimate measure of a man. We want people to be like Greg Deville, is responsible for your family, loving your wife, and only your wife, right?
Right. There you go.
And having a house and having, a future planned out for your grandkids. I thought, so men have to know that their responsibility goes beyond them just taking care of themselves.
Right.
You got to plan the future, and you got to set up the table for the future.
Absolutely.
So that's what it was about that day. And then Friday was the tech. Oh man, the tech summit. 650 students, man. DeWanda Malone knocked it out of the park. 650 students learning about technology, learning about cybersecurity, learning, coding, all of that stuff. It was so cool. And then Saturday we had the banquet. The highlight of the banquet for me was listening to Congressman Stephen Horsford.
Yeah.
Who I want Nevadans to think about this. You have the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus from the neighborhoods of Las Vegas. The chairman.
Wow.
The Congressional Black Caucus, it took them 15 years to pass the national holiday for Dr. King. So there's so much history tied up in there, man. It was amazing. And then, of course, the parade was, like you said, we had the Raiders. We had another touch of history. We had the Raiders president, the Raiders GM, and the Raiders head coach, all black.
Wow. Man, you talk about powerful. You said something a moment ago, and I wanted to add just a tad to that when you talked about having, your real estate. And what it took me to is really having assets, right? Yeah. Because asset is value, right? Most time people don't own much. They may have bought a house, but they don't own the cars they drive, right? They don't really have assets. And what I've learned talking to successful individuals is that Deville, I buy a Rolex, not because it's a great looking watch. I buy it because it's an asset. It's a value. And if I ever get into a place, right, because there are times when things shift. And in the shift, you may have to let some things go, but you have valuable assets. Yeah. Companies sell shares and stock shares, right? Yeah. When the market, when the industry is seeing a low tide, they let off some assets, right, to keep the capital. And what I'm seeing in our communities is that we're not having enough assets, that we can lean back to or draw on, because as soon as we're almost done paying that car, we go and buy another car.
Right.
We never own, and so that's what we've got to come to the place of owning. I can't see your face, Sean. I see your elbow, but I don't see your face.
My elbow. Okay, there you go.
But I want to make sure that we're getting that out, that the value that people, press to having. I know savings can get short, but guess what? Even outside of the saving gets short. I met a guy today who was in the parking lot talking, and this gentleman walks up. He said, "Young man, you need to own shares in brands of items, of product." And so every time they sell, like Jordan, if you buy some stock in Jordan, you like to wear them, why you don't own stock? Exactly. Get some stock in those things that you enjoy. Yeah, get some stock. That way you'll always get a residual income. I also want to say, man, yesterday, my wife, shout out to Marquetta Deville, man, she put a surprise gathering. I understood everybody knew it but me. And she put us out at a surprise for the Greg Deville Day, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm always humbled to think that they would actually give a day to a brother who's doing what he loves, right?
Yeah.
Like you, I didn't get into this for recognition. I got into it because it was the assignment that God gave me to do, is empower the community in the creation of wealth, right?
And you know,
he gives you a glimpse of,
I gotta tell you, man. Think about what we just talked about with Dr. King, right? If you go back to 1965 or 1963 when he did the speech, you know, that is not a possibility. It's almost an impossibility for you to get a Greg Deville Day in Las Vegas.
Man.
In 1963. So think about this, right? Now think about, we fast forward to 2024. And we're talking about a Greg Deville Day, which I think is incredible for any man, let alone a black man in Las Vegas, having the opportunity to be celebrated with a day, right? I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. And congratulations to you, because you earned it, and you earned that day. They didn't just say, hey, Greg Deville, I just like your name, we're going to make a day, because that's not how it happened. You earned it because you're serving and you're giving back to other people and helping them be prosperous. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But I wanted to also acknowledge your the opportunities that God has opened for you, man, and what you're doing, and how you'll continue to push the legacy, 42 years of the Martin Luther King parade and the different things that it entails. And so I want to say congratulations, man. That's powerful. I was at the banquet, and the acknowledging, or I use the term passing the torch, right?
Yeah.
Just passing the torch, man, to a brother and his family who can keep, and the millennial, you know, well, you got the Gen Z and you got the millennials, and the millennials, man, which is our kids, right? Am I right about it? And
You're right.
And they get to go on and move, and move that to the next dimension, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's just a powerful,
I think where people don't connect the dots with Dr. King is Dr. King died in 1968. That was the year I was born. And Dr. King's last mission was the Poor People's Campaign. The Poor People's Campaign, where he was saying, hey, you know, it's a shame that today, 100 years later, after the first passage of slaves being free and civil rights and all that being talked about, that we still had to fight for economic equality.
Yeah.
See, everybody, you know, what good is it if you want to drink out of a water fountain? You want to, you know, use the same restroom, but that don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And that don't create generational wealth. So what you're doing with real estate, this is my own family. It didn't happen overnight for us either. It was my father changing our mindset from a renter of an apartment to being a landlord, owning a brownstone in Brooklyn. And like I said at the banquet, I know people get tired of hearing about that brownstone, but that was a transformational moment.
Man, it's powerful.
For our family.
Yeah. That's powerful,
changed
man.
Everything in our life.
Yeah.
Greg, it changed everything.
Yeah. And that's powerful. And my father, who, you know, I always tell the story, I didn't meet my mother till I was 13. I was raised with my dad ever since I was 2 years old, when he took me from Louisiana to Los Angeles. Didn't know my mom. All I knew was my dad. My dad bought a house. I'm born in 1965. My dad had bought a house in 1972. And I remember being in the 8th grade and going to school, and I lived there until the 12th grade in that same house. You know, we didn't have a family of moving around. My dad was stable. So when that's what I know to be, right? I'm a product of my environment. Now, when we talk about having that wealth creation mindset, I think a lot of time it's grooming when we're young, the things we see of our parents, our dad. My dad showed me a lot. You know, I'm a handyman by skill, but I'm a plumber by trade. Now, with that being said, it's only because Daddy was a handyman. Right? I can go and fix houses, buy old houses, and tear out walls and put new plumbing, new electrical, new roof. Man, but that's what Dad showed me to do. So, you know, he would take old houses and go in and refurbish. But I think we're losing to many young men the fact of giving them back the talent of how to do the things our dad showed us to do. You know, absolutely. I think we're losing. And in Las Vegas, I think we could do better. We're doing great, but I think we could do better at training men how to not just be a porter, but how to flip properties. When I do these flips, I bring in guys, man. I say, look, come and learn how to do it, right? You'll get paid, but you can learn more valuable because you can take a man and feed him a fish, but I can teach you how to fish. That's literally teach you how to fish. And guess what you do? You go ahead and now you take that trade. You take that skill set. And I think a lot of people today, if you are a father and you've learned some things with your dad, how to do, bring that down. I get my grandson, man. The other day, my daughter took a little project with another young man was doing a job. And he said, man, your daughter can really do stuff. And I said, man, I didn't have a son. I only had a daughter. You know, and she lifting, doing stuff, and he was amazed. But I think giving that mindset of how-tos. And so it's wonderful that you're doing that with your family, teaching them how to, what you've learned, to continue to make a successful living for what you know how to do. Right? That's powerful stuff, man. I wanted to bring you on as a guest today to kind of bring back some of what we did over the last week, and I thought the Measure of a Man was a powerful event, man. I think another thing I want to speak to is that men, those of you that are listening that are entrepreneurs, one of the things I think is valuable that we need to in 2024 is continue to network. Your network makes your net worth. And I'm seeing people hit and miss. I tell my team at Deville Realty, you need to get out and network. People need to know you. They need to see your support. That's how people remember who you are, Shondell. Because you're always out somewhere.
That's exactly right. And, you know, network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, because right now I'm headed out to the Super Bowl host committee. And the way everybody said, how did you get on this host committee? What did you do? Who did you talk to? I said, I was asked. And they said, well, why did they ask you? I said, you know, based on what they said is because I have a business mind. I understand, you know, how to help with the business of the Super Bowl, but also I have the propensity and the skill to take it to the community.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you're asked to do certain things. You're asked because you were top of mind, and that's branding, right? I always talk about relationships. That's branding. That's where you build your brand, and people know you. And it's not just who you know, but it's how people know you. And more importantly, they know what you can do.
Right. Getting out, being seen, being heard. And sometimes you may not be heard, but just the getting out piece, somebody will remember that down the road. And maybe they don't need, for my particular business, maybe they don't need a house. Maybe they don't need, they got all of that, right? But they may run into somebody who says, you know what? They're talking about it. Hey, there's a guy named Deville, Greg Deville. You know what I mean? So when you brand, they think about, we need somebody who could take it back to the community. There's a guy named Newsom, Shondell. Let's call that guy, right? So because you're in every space and every place, it affords your name to be spoken in places that maybe you're not even at that moment. But your name is mentioned. Yeah, you're not even in the room.
And even better, you get a consensus, right? What if you can get a consensus, and everybody's like, oh, wait a minute, that guy, he's great. That dude, he can get it done. And more people that talk good about you, is better. Like you always talk about it. Hey, you know what's in your name, right? You always talk about what's in the Deville name. That means a lot. Right. When something is in your name. And I remember one time my son, Shondell Jr., he goes, Dad, you know, every time I go around, it's hard living up to that name. I said, son, you ought to thank God that it's hard living up to that name.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, that name didn't have any value. But it has value now. That's why it's hard to live up to it.
All right.
Be proud of that. Be proud of that.
So there's a standard. Yeah, there's a standard that's been set. And, when you set a standard, right, you set the bar, and but again, we can't always, have our children live how we want to. Sometimes they go left. I mean, I did. I don't know about you. I heard some of your story. I went left. My dad set a standard.
Oh,
I went left. Yeah, I went left. Yeah. But eventually I got it right. Right? And so with that raising the bar, right? Raising the bar allows for us to be able to let, and it may not, what's funny, I just thought about this. It may not always be our family always directly, but it could be somebody else that sees what you're doing, that you could be an encouragement to them also to go higher in raising the bar, to go higher in their standards, to raise their character, to be someone that, I wasn't always dependable. I wasn't always reliable, right? I wasn't always a connected, resourceful guy. But one thing I learned when I became what I grew into be, it's been a better way of life, a much better way of life. And so I want to switch over.
Greg, you learn.
Yeah, right. But I think
I'll tell you what I love is you learn. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you learn from your lessons, man.
Yeah.
And that's when what Corinthians talk about is when I became a man.
Yeah.
We all gonna make mistakes. I was a teenage father. I was a screw up in the street, but we all have to learn. I screwed up my first marriage. I wasn't no good husband. You know what I mean? But first I'm accountable to say I screwed it up. Okay. I'm accountable. Yeah. I ain't gonna just blame her because it takes two to tango.
Exactly.
So the thing that I always tell my kids and people in the community is I'm gonna admit my mistakes. Yeah. I'm gonna correct my mistakes. And that's really the ultimate measure of a man. Don't keep making the same mistake over and over and saying I'm sorry, because at some point you ain't sorry.
So, I want to switch over now to what we have coming up. I just secured the dates have been secured, but I officially today have locked in for the Wealth Mindset Conference, Las Vegas. This conference is so powerful. In health, I've had so many. We had it last April. This is our second annual, and this conference has been a blessing to many who are in business. It has not only spoken to the business mindset, but it's spoken to many who are included in the health portion of life, right? I have men today who've called me, not just recently, talking about, thank you for pushing me to the doctor. And we know that wives always tell the husbands, but just having a man, and that's why we have to, as men, get out and lead what that looks like, right? We have to lead men what that looks like. I went to the doctor. Oh, I found out today. So I missed a call from my doctor. And, man, I was angry. I missed the call. Because you know why? I want to know what the cholesterol is. I want to know what the sugar level is. I want to know my blood pressure. Well, I already know the blood pressure. They give you the blood pressure the same day. But they ran these tests. And just to go, man, my wife tells me, she said, honey, you'll go to the doctor. I'm like, you know what? I want to live. I don't want to be the man. I don't want to be the man. I got too much wealth to die.
Right.
Praise God, man. I want to live. I want to enjoy life and all life has, that little heaven here on earth, and then die from here and go to heaven. You know what I mean? But there's a part of life, man, that's appreciative and valuable. I don't know how nobody could commit suicide. I guess that depression spirit is overpowering the mind. But I'm telling you, it's so much exciting things to live for, and God has given you another chance. Even gave us a new year, man. You know, I'm so excited that this Wealth Mindset Conference, I talked to the doctor today, and he said, I said, man, I'm so sorry, doc, I missed your call. And, sugar was actually good. Sugar was good because these are things we got to watch out for, right? Yeah. Cholesterol, he said, slightly elevated, nothing to really concern, just slightly. I'm like, but just knowing the slightly, right? So if we start going in and just getting those little small tests, the PSA levels, and that's something I want to do. I want to put something on where the men can go out. KCP did this a few years back where they had the men could go and get a PSA test done. I would love to have another event like that. We can get some doctors to come in and do some testing to help people get those tests so you can get an idea. Now, if it's elevated, you need to go ahead and see the doctor. But if it's under, 7%, 0.7, it still needs to be concerning. You still want to check it out. But I think if you're over 40, 35 and up, because they used to say over 50. But, things have changed in the medical now where some things are in the food that may be, affecting us, and being careful on some of the sugars and the starches and things like that, man. Those are very important. So the Wealth Mindset Conference is going to speak to all of those things that help us to health is wealth, right? We're talking to financial literacy, right? All these things that help people, because somebody endeavors to be an entrepreneur, but they work a 9 to 5, Shondell. Right. So we want to talk about how are you going to make that pivot, right? So we got Trina Giles. Trina Giles, the owner, former firefighter, fire department, who now owns her own well-established business. Well-established. Yeah. Well-established business. I think I heard you say you patronize quite frequently over there.
Oh yeah, I'm there all the time. Yeah,
all the time.
I'm like Norm from Cheers, man. I'm always there.
Part of the furniture.
They know the name.
Yeah.
Right. I'm part of the furniture. I remember somebody sat in Norm's seat. He said, "Hey man, when I walk," he said, "I didn't know you sat here." He said, "I've been sitting here for 15 years."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, man. And you know what? You right on spot on, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I listened to. My daughter told me about my father, her grandfather, when he passed away in 2009.
Yeah,
she said, the sad part about it is all her younger cousins won't get to experience him. That hit me right here. Like, so I do my walks. I check my blood sugar. I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I got to make sure that I'm on top of my game, man.
Absolutely.
Like you said, man. The wealth part of it is even thinking about, I want to see my grandchildren graduate from high school and college and start businesses and do all of that. I want to see them do that.
There you go.
My granddaughter came to the banquet Saturday, and she'd been asking Tierra for a long time, "Mommy, I want to go. I want to go." And I said, "Look, why don't you just let her come on? You used to come when you were little." And that gave her that exposure. Oh, and she just ate it up. She just ate up the whole experience, man.
It was a beautiful experience.
That's what we got to do. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. Expose them, man.
Health, man.
No doubt. No doubt. Health is wealth. Because what's the purpose in gaining all this success and all this notoriety, money in all these different trust accounts and savings and so on and so forth, and then your health diminishes? I mean, what that doesn't even sound right. It doesn't even go. It doesn't. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. And so if we can speak to that in a wealth mindset that we want to talk about, right? So we got Chef Jeff. Chef Jeff, I'm not sure. I know that you know Chef Jeff.
Phenomenal guy, man.
He is our keynote speaker. Nice. And man, it's going to be powerful, brother. So we have quite a few, and yourself, you're going to speak to the art of success.
Mindset of success.
Yeah, mindset of success. So to talk about this conference and how that we've come to pour in to the lives of people. It's not about money. So we want people, if you don't have the money to do it, listen, the ticket is simply $108. I wanted to get a number 8 in there because 8 is a new beginning. So it's a simple fee. We just want to be able to get, and we don't want people who can't afford, well, Deville, my money a little funny right now. Don't worry about it. We're going to laugh this thing out. Come on anyway, right? We want to call and register. If you just ain't got it, we're going to have enough. We're believing God to get enough sponsors that at least 30% of the attendees will just be on free tickets. That's where our faith is, 30%. Yeah. It's about investing in the lives of people, man, so they can empower themselves for that next level that's in store for their lives. People who don't know how to start. Where did Shondell, how did he start that, right? One day you give me a glimpse of how Some New even started, because I know it wasn't Some New, it was Newsome Marketing. Is that right?
Newsome Marketing, yes, sir.
Newsome Marketing, and you left a job to do it.
Oh yeah, I left a very a good job,
Yeah.
a great job. And people were and I remember my wife's family were like, not all of them, but a few of them were like, is he serious? He going to leave this job?
Yeah.
Got 8 kids, and he got to one of the highest levels in the gaming and hospitality. And it was God that said, you know what? You can do what they're doing. And I watched ever since I was there, I watched it. But not only did I watch it, what I did is I started taking classes on entrepreneurship, the SBA.
Okay, there you go.
Score.
There you go.
I took all those classes, man, and I wanted to know for sure where were my risks? What were the risks where I was taking? What do I need to do to be a real entrepreneur? How do I transition my military experience with my new gaming and hospitality experience? And all I had to do was follow those blueprints.
Yeah,
I take the leadership and mission focus of the military onto the business operations of gaming and hospitality. And then, I had to take that leap of faith. Me and my wife was on a cruise, and one day she said, "What do you want to do, hon? What are you thinking?" I said, "Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going to do this. We're going to do this ourselves." And the other thing is, one thing that Wendell talked about at the banquet, Stephen talked about at the banquet, you talk about all the time, is having the support of your women. The women in your life got to be very supportive. Otherwise, that could be a threat to your success. Yeah. If you don't have a great woman, and I have a great woman, Arlene is amazing. And
I do too.
Hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I went for it. And then it was like, oh man, this is great. This is great. But then 3 years in, the Great Recession happened.
There you go.
And talking about assets, like you said, assets.
Yeah.
I had to. I gave up my property. I said, okay, we're gonna downsize, honey. We're gonna move. We moved into a smaller house. Then we moved into an apartment, right? And then, but then we came. Once we were getting it back again, we quickly called you and Marquetta and said, hey, we want to get back into our home. And we went and bought a home. But it's not. And then we hit the global pandemic.
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to have this up and down and up and down and up and down. But the resiliency is what it's all about, man.
That's
it's like
That's
trusting God and being resilient and keep going no matter what the forecast looks like. Keep going.
I remember while you're saying that, I thought about I studied in real estate in 2005. And I didn't get a license until 2007, and then the market crashed in 2007 was the beginning of the crash. So I got in as everything was going underwater. But because of my skill set as a handyman, I was able to fix houses. So I could sell a few and fix the house and make money. So that was how I was able. Now here I am 18, 19 years later, right? Now I'm a broker, but to encourage the young person, to encourage the person who endeavors to go into business. You may start and the market may crash. But persistence, dedication, having the skill set of faith. Now sometimes you out here and now it can be a bit scary. I'm gonna just use that word. It can be scary.
It is scary.
Because because the bills come when the money ain't coming. That power bill still sits there. And the funds didn't come in. But you know what I found out is that when you have faith in God, he always manages to open the door and have something for me to do that gives me the finances to do what I needed to do. And so what I realized is when I would have a challenge, I would do a job, I'd make some money, and I would go on a trip. And so one day I went on a trip. I made some money. It was a little tight, but I went on a trip. When I came back, I got a phone call from the then AC Green, who was the power forward for the Lakers, right? And I was in the 90s. It was in the 90s. I was working in Ladera, which is the community for the Lakers and doctors and NFL players. And as a handyman, and when I took a trip, I came back, I had a phone call from AC Green. And so I told my kid's mom, I said, you know what's amazing? When I took a trip, I came back, I had a big contract waiting. So every time I take a trip, I come back, something would happen. So I learned, take a trip, come back, and something good would happen. So that was something that's something I learned over time. It's been a blessing for me. But we're going to talk more again. I know you're getting ready to head into your meeting.
Run into my meeting,
Yep. I wanted to be able to just pick your brain for a minute and tell you how much we enjoyed last week with the MLK committee, everything that you're participating in the community, and the example, brother, that you share with so many of us, and kind of giving us the open doors, like you kicking the doors ahead of us. And those of us who got wisdom, we able to walk in these doors that Shondell's kicking down, like, well, look at this. Let me go and just sit on the front row. You don't have to be on the stage. You don't have to say nothing. Just be in the room. Just be in a room and watch God connect you with who the connections are meant to be. So, Brother Shondell, man, look, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for what you bring and what you're doing. You all that are listening, Shondell Newsom will be one of our guests for the Mindset of Success for the Wealth Conference, Las Vegas 2024, April 7th. So, again, brother, thank you, man. Have a good meeting with the Raiders meeting that you're having, and we'll connect again. We're going to do it again, okay?
Definitely.
Blessings to you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Thank you, brother. All right. God bless. Yes, Las Vegas, that's right. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, talking to Shondell Newsom, the gentleman who owns Some New Marketing, and his daughter is the CEO of operations. And so we are excited to. And you know, it's funny, I didn't mention, but Shondell, his wife and my wife, that's her niece. So Shondell is inducted to the family. I'm older than Shondell, so I like to call him a brother. He's my wife's uncle, but he's my brother. So you figure that out later. But anyway, nonetheless, listen, I'm excited to have shared with you today on the Wealth Mindset Conference, April 7th. Listen, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity that you want to get involved in. And that conference is April 6th and 7th. Now, April 6th is going to be the meet and greet for the conference. And so understand that you can do some sponsoring if you so like. We have different levels of sponsorship. So if you're interested, feel free to contact 702-349-0162. Contact the team. That's my personal direct number. You know, our missions, it's coming through For All Family CDC is one of our sponsors. For All Family CDC. It's a nonprofit organization, so any donations you care to share in are tax deductible. The For All Families Community Development Corporation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're an organization whose mission is to teach financial literacy, health is wealth, and living life with purpose to families in our local community. At the Wealth Mindset Conference, Las Vegas, we aim to provide a platform for industry experts and leaders to come together and share their insights and experiences to create a positive, transformative impact. Our mission is to inspire and empower attendees to take their businesses to the next level. When we talk mindset, we will educate attendees on the importance of the mindset required to gain your wealth. Before leaving the conference, you will have the opportunity to acquire world-class alliances and resources that helps maintain the core values associated with the mindset of building generational wealth. This is what we want to do, April 6th and 7th. So those of you that are considering to become a sponsor, you want to be a part of what we're doing, maybe you just want to sponsor some attendees. For more information, contact 702-349-0162. Or perhaps you want to go to the website, For All Families CDC, forallfamilies.org, or you can go to Greg Deville at YouTube, or you can go to gregdeville.com. The information is there. Contact us directly if you need more information for sponsorship. You can text me your email address, and I'll forward you the information you'd like to become a sponsor for the Wealth Mindset Conference. Again, April 6th and 7th, 2024. We're excited to share. It will be at the beautiful Red Rock Hotel and Resort here in Summerlin, and this is our second annual conference. So to be a part of it, you missed last year. You said you wanted, but you didn't get to make it. It's another opportunity. We're going higher. We have a great, and go to my Facebook, Greg Deville. You can go to Greg Deville on IG. All the information on all platforms will be out. We're finalizing the details with our guest speakers. All the information, again, for more info, 702-349-0162. All right, Las Vegas, I'm out of here for the day. It's a beautiful Thursday. The weather looks great here in Las Vegas. I've had a great time sharing with my guest on this afternoon, Mr. Shondell Newsom of Something New Marketing. I'm telling you, a powerful brother in the city doing a lot of things and moving around and a part of so many things. We just wanted to share the love and appreciation for what he's doing and kicking over doors to get us to go in and just have access and opportunities available. So, okay, Las Vegas, I'll talk to you next Thursday right here at 3 o'clock, 702.5fm.com. We love talking with you every week. Again, for more contact information, 702-349-0162. Well, until I talk to you next Thursday, I pray for you that God's best be yours.
Yeah. Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville, help you build the